Welcome back to the Osteo and Physio YouTube channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about why are you getting tingling, numbness or pins and needles into your hand. A client comes into clinic to see us and they're presenting with this numbness, this tingling or this burning feeling into their hands. We normally break down the assessment and the diagnosis into very, very specific sections. So number one, is or are the symptoms due to any issues up into the neck? So there's lots of different areas where the nerves can get compressed. So if we take the neck initially, what we can get is either a disc prolapse or injury into the neck, facet capsulitis or facet lock or irritation into the joints around the side of the neck, or significant muscle guarding around the surrounding muscles. What happens if the neck goes into this position where it becomes incredibly sore, incredibly painful? It can compress the nerve or the nerve roots as they exit the neck. What's really key and clear when we are assessing and diagnosing this is each level of the neck, so each nerve root has a very specific pattern of numbness, tingling, weakness and strength up into the body when they're becoming compressed. So what I mean by that, if we take for example C5-6 in the middle part of the neck, when someone presents with that numbness or that tingling, they're more likely to have it over the whole thumb and into the upper part of the arm. So what you find into the forearm, sorry. So what you find is a very, very specific pattern of tingling and numbness. These symptoms are normally made worse by specific neck movement. So for example, if we're extending and rotating, if it's due to one of the joints in the neck, where it's compressing the nerve root as it's exiting the neck, or potentially with a disc, dropping the chin down and turning away where we're pushing the disc material out, can cause these symptoms to be reduced, and they're normally coming down in a radicular, so shooting pain down into the arm, and like I said, over a very, very specific area. Number two, someone might be suffering with numbness, tingling and burning into the hands due to something called thoracic outlet syndrome, and this is looking at the neurological part of this condition. So TOS, thoracic outlet syndrome, is where the nerves, the brachial plexus, so as they've left the neck, so imagine strands of spaghetti coming down and passing into the arm, they pass through something called your scalene triangle, so the muscles around here. What can happen with the neurological, so nerve symptoms with TOS, is they can get compressed around your scalene triangle. As they become compressed, they can aggravate, cause pain, shooting down into the arm, and again, very specific numbness and tingling into the hand. Most commonly with TOS, it impacts the lower part of the brachial plexus, so the lower part of the nerves, normally around C8-T1, which is the lower end of the neck, which normally gives tingling and numbness into these two fingers, or a general kind of change in sensation, and in that inner part of the forearm here. So again, a very, very specific pattern. It can sometimes be worse from breathing, so if we've got a lot of tightness through these muscles, breathing might aggravate, lifting up through the arm, anything where you're sat for long periods of time where you're contracting through. If you're turning the neck away and you're stretching, sometimes turning towards, so again it's a very random pattern as we're assessing. We would do very specific tests in terms of palpation around here to see if that reproduces the pain. It can also get compressed with TOS, so the scalene's here, but also as it comes down under the pec minor and around into the axilla, so around here as well. So again, as osteopaths, we'd be palpating, we'd be moving, we'd be feeling what's going on all around this whole arm, but particularly up in this area, to see if we can reproduce that tingling and see what's going on. Another common cause of tingling, numbness into the hands might be due to compression of peripheral nerves. So there's different parts, and again, trying to explain this very clearly, so there's different parts where a nerve changes or can become compressed. So we've got nerve roots, we've got the brachial plexus as it comes down, and then what happens as these nerves exit, so again, imagine those strands of spaghetti, they tend to blend together to form very, very specific nerves. So if we take, for example, your median nerve, as it comes down, so passes under the axilla down into the arm. This nerve in particular passes around your pronator muscles here and then down into your carpal tunnel here. So again, a lot of people that say they have carpal tunnel syndrome is that median nerve getting compressed around this area here. So what's very, very common is if someone's getting medial nerve compression is over these three fingers, weakness on using the fingers, so particularly flexing, and you would find as you push on these compression sites, so we're thinking of all the different parts where the nerve can get compressed, that might reproduce the specific location of tingling and weakness into those muscles. The next one is your ulnar nerve. So again, as it passes down, it actually is a little bit more around the back of the elbow, so where the median nerve is here, ulnar is here, and it passes down through something called the tunnel ligation to supply down into here. So again, very similar to TOS, so you would have these two fingers involved, and it typically gives burning or numbness or tingling into that inner part of the forearm here, down into those two fingers. They might have difficulty gripping, it might feel quite weak as they're using those fingers, and again, tapping or pressing around here, pressing down into the hand around here, could reproduce those that tingling sensation and that burning, which might explain obviously compression of the ulnar nerve. The other peripheral nerve I want to talk about is your radial nerve. So the radial nerve comes down the back of the arm, so passing through the triceps, through your supinator muscle here, so the one that turns the hand outwards, and then down the back of the hand. So where we get sensation changes with the radial nerve might be shooting or pain around the back of the arm, down towards the back of the fingers, and then a little bit over the thumb here. So again, they would have tingling and numbness in a really specific location. So this is what we would look for as osteopaths. We want to test, okay, where are you feeling the numbness? Which muscles are weak? Any reflexes? So when they use a patella hammer, which reflexes are being impacted, obviously with these specific sensation. And so what's really interesting is a lot of people that come in where they think that they've got carpal tunnel, which is causing their numbness. Actually, it's a lot more complex than that. So you'd want to have a look, any impact in the neck, any impact around the shoulder, elbow into the wrist that are causing your symptoms. And what we actually commonly find as well, if we're thinking something called a double crush lesion, is it might be more than one area that is involved, which makes obviously treating, we want to look at the whole body, but obviously that thorough assessment, absolutely key to determine what is going on with your symptoms.